Good to see you, Maria. We are on the precipice of a global food crisis. God created humanity. Humanity has created every way to destroy itself, from nuclear, biological, chemical. But now we've waged a war. We've weaponized food. In the Ukraine, between the Ukraine and Russia, they represent 50% of the world's production of fertilizer. 30% wheat, 20% corn, 2.5 million acres of sunflowers, other food and minerals. They also have sand for fracking, sand for glass. And, you know, they have, with Russia's doing with their land bridge, they're also cutting off the Ukraine to the sea. They've taken Mariupol pretty much. Odessa is left. If they cut off Odessa, then they basically landlock the Ukraine and they can't export. They can't either plant. Right now we're in the planting season in southeast Ukraine where all these products are grown. They've attacked irrigation systems. They've attacked train systems. And they've sent millions of women and children into exile. But let me say that we have provoked, in a way, this war by showing an incredible weakness around the globe and lack of resolve to protect the women, children, and the innocent. It started in Afghanistan when we left women and children behind. Usually women and children go first. We left them behind. And now they've sent millions of women into exile. If the United States, the greatest country on earth, doesn't stand up for the defenseless, who will? We will lose this country unless we love and build versus hate and destroy. We've given the green light around the world for people to abuse and exploit women and children. We've given that green light by showing our weakness.
Well, Bob,
All right, I want to start off by saying Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yaharashai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yaharashai, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yaharashai, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yaharashai, Ba'ashem Rakak Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that told me his doctrine in truth and sincerity. Shalom to elect. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, which means he is or he exists. Ba'ashem, in the name of his only begotten Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. We know his name to be Yahawashi, which means he is the deliverer. He is the savior for the Hebrew Israelites from the pedigree of your father. Ba'ashem, in the name of the Ruach HaKodesh, which means the Holy Spirit, to be able to give us the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of who we are, which are the true Hebrew Israelites. Okay, you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, or if you're of the speckled bird looking like the other nations in your spirit, bear witness with this doctrine. You could be one of the elect. Shalom. We've been discontinued from our heritage because we went off following after false gods and false idols, not following the law, statutes, commandments that was given to us by our forefathers. Because of that offense, we were sent into captivity under our oppressors. And right now we're under our number one oppressor, which is Esau, Edom. Esau means wasted away he is, and they are the biblical Edomites that it speaks about in the scriptures. Idumean, which means red. They are the true red men. Okay, they're the self-proclaimed white man of this world, right? They are the elite, the banksters, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Kennedys, the ones that are trying to bring in this new world order, Novus Ordo Seclorum on the back of your dollar bill. How do they do it? By order out of chaos, order out of chaos in the Latin, by having these stage events, these, strategically planned man-made famine that they're pushing. And right here from the horse's mouth, you have one of the CEOs of Goya, okay? And that's how they see you, as Goyim, which means worthless eaters, okay? And they know that they can be able to control you by their food supply. Henry A. Kissinger, which was one of the puppets for the elites, said if I control the food supply, I control the people, okay? And that's what they're doing right now, because they're trying to they're strategically planning a blockade to control the supplies, the resources, to have you bow down to this beast system, which the beast rides upon the whore, or the whore rides upon the beast. Okay, and the whore is Babylon the Great. Babylon goes back to Babel, which goes back to confusion. America goes back to Amar, which goes back to bitter. And we're in a bitter, confused state when you have your so-called leaders of this world creating a military tactic, waging war on the people through the food supply. And, of course, through their philosophies. Again, that's what that beast system is. Their philosophies that they push, the same as they did in Rome, okay? And Rome was taken down, and this place is going to be taken down, okay, by our Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach. by these other nations firing missiles over to this place, because this place is a constant vexation of spirit. You know, the only thing that brothers really have is the only thing they have is the word, which is a blessing. Is that's that light in a dark place. Because again, this is coming here. Okay, you see over there in Shanghai, they're starving people out, putting them in these re-educational camps. Okay, and pushing forth their communist agenda, which is to have a one world government. Okay, one ruler, and to be able to take away God, you know, so-called God in this world, but his name is actually Yahweh. Okay, to take away the believers and put them into what? Into these re-educational camps. And over here they have what? The guillotines, which are the smart guillotines, which are going to be for the people that don't comply to you know, the mandates that are about to happen. They're draconian laws, they're unrighteous decrees, because again, they want to have everyone charagmaed up. Okay, and this is going to be and charagma is a graven image in your forehead or in your hand, and something that's physical. Okay, inserted inside of you so they can be able to control your every single movement. Esau, our oppressor, has a God complex. He thinks that he is God. He thinks that he sits in the seat of God. Okay, that's why everything that he pushes is you know, he's pushing the transhumanism, because he wants everyone to be you know, slaves. Okay, now we're under slavery. We're not free. Okay, but this word you know, gives you peace and it gives you comfort, because Yahweh Shai is known as comfort. And again, these famines are coming to Babylon the Great. Okay, let's get some scriptures, because this is in mainstream on the news. You know, they're talking about it. You have people talking about you know, so-called God. We know his name is Yahweh, but everyone's they're starting to you know, they're starting to know that this is the end times. Okay. This is Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee old prophesy both against many countries. So again, the prophets are the ones, are the pastors of Yahweh Shem Shai's heart. That was going to give you the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the scriptures to be able to comfort you in the times that we're headed into. Prophets are known as the forecasters. You know, you forecast you know, you have the weatherman that forecasts the news and tells you what's going to happen the day before it happens or the week before it happens. And that's what the prophets do. How do they know that? That's because they have been given, Amos 3:7, they have been given the mysteries from Yahweh Shem Shai about the downfall of this place, who Esau Edom is, the son of perdition, the wicked, okay, and who we are, which are the true Hebrew Israelites, and who the Father's name is and the Son's name is. Okay, and that's power in itself. And it says that scripturally that would happen in the land of our captivity. We'll call upon the name. Okay, and that's what's going on right now. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay, it says the prophets that have been before me, before the old, prophesy both against many countries. So again, the prophets have been here before. You're coming back into your lot. Daniel 12:13, you will come back into your lot in the last days. Okay, and that's what's happening right now. And prophesying against another a great kingdom, which is Babylon the Great, the wicked. Okay, that's ran by the elite, which is Esau Edom. Okay, and you have the prophets on the right hand side that are prophesying the downfall of this kingdom. Okay, and against great kingdoms of war and evil and of pestilence. So again, you see the wars and the rumors of wars. You have Ukraine and Russia over there fighting. Then you have you know, over there in you know, Iran. You know, you got China. Everywhere around the world, there's war. Okay, Exodus 15:3, that the Lord is a man of war. Okay, and he's stirring up these the people, the king's minds. Okay, to create war and ultimately to come against Babylon the Great. Okay, evil, bad times. When you don't have food, that's going to be a bad time. Okay, there's a saying. It says, you know, 3 days you'll riot for food when you don't have food. 1 week you'll steal for food, and in 2 weeks you'll kill for food. Okay, and that's what they're putting, you know, on the people. Okay, but by having what these food hikes. Okay, these you know, inflation, which is going to lead to hyperinflation. Okay, all these things are man-made, right? They're man-made because they're strategically planning on how they can be able to take over the world, like Pinky and the Brain. You know, that's what they ultimately want to do, but they want to do it by a one world government. And how do they do that? By controlling all the resources. That's what that war over there in Ukraine is all about with Russia, because it's just basically Ukraine's going to get destroyed, and you know, and any other nations that help them out, and then Babylon is just going to, you know, sit back. okay? And they think that they're going to be in good case, but they're not. They're going to get destroyed too, okay? Because this is all prophecy, right? And pestilence, we know that it came out a couple years ago, okay? You had the 201, event 201, where they were testing out germ games, okay? And that's going to be done again because they were doing a diligent search. They're searching out how they can be able to wage war on the people, okay? This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, we're not ignorant of his schemes and his evil plots, because we know that this is strategically planned out, okay, of what he's trying to do, and he's waging war on the people. Let's get that. There's everything, there's a time and a season, right? Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything is a season and a time, every purpose under the heaven. So what is the purpose? To bring in the kingdom of Yahawashi, Hamashiach. Okay, Lord willing, we're of the elect. Okay, so all these things have to happen. There has to be destruction to this place before it can bring in the kingdom of Yahawashi, right? Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. Yeah, so we're in a time of war. Okay, we're in a time of perplexity where it's going to be, of being in straits, a time of, you're not going to have certain resources. But we know, according to Isaiah 65 and 13, that the servants of Yahweh Shemashai are going to be able to eat through all this. Okay, let me just get that, because that's our belief. That's our faith system. Okay, that Yahweh Shemashai will be able to deliver us out of the said perils that are about to happen. Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore it said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, behold, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. So again, those servants are the men that believe in Yahweh Shemashai, okay, that are doing the work, that are the believers. Okay, they believe in this word. They believe in this truth. Those are the ones that are going to be able to eat. The ones that are not are the 2/3 in these other heathen nations, right? So I got that video. Let's see. Yeah, and this has happened before. Okay, they have it's called the Great Leap Forward. There was actually, you have the Great Leap Forward. Okay, you had the Great Chinese Famine. You had the Great Famine in 1845. Okay, the Bengal Famine in 1943. Okay. And let's just see how many died. 45 million people died from starvation, overwork, and state violence during a Great Leap Forward, claiming his findings to be based access to recently opened. Yeah, so again, and it was probably more than that. Okay. And it says, the Great Leap Forward was a plan that was created to increase China's economy and industry. It was started by a communist leader, okay, and chairman Mao Zedong. Okay, yeah. So again, by their elites, okay, and that's what's going on right now. Because again, this is a worldwide agenda. Okay, so we got that. Yeah, so this is nothing. Nothing new is under the sun. Let me get that. This has been done before. Okay, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says the thing that had been. It says the thing that has been. Let me read this in the NLT. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Yeah, so this is nothing new. Okay, and we're not ignorant of Satan's devices and his schemes and his plots. 10. Sometimes people say, here is something new, but actually it is old. Nothing is ever truly new. So again, nothing is ever truly new. Okay, this has all been done before. This famine, this pestilence, and that's what they're just taking a play out of the history books. Okay, and doing it again. Again, Esau is not that. He's not that smart. Okay, he does the same things over and over again. For instance, this is Rome 2.0. And this is 6 ways You shall know him by his name. That number 6 ways food is being used as a weapon. It says, Henry A. Kissinger in 1974. Henry A. Kissinger suggested using food as a weapon to induce a targeted population reduction and previously classified a 200-page report. Okay. It says, notably, this tactic only works as a burnt weapon on territories enduring severe economic collapse. Are we in an economic collapse? Okay, aren't they taking away the fiat currency, bringing in the central banking digital currency, making it a cashless society? Okay, which ultimately is going to lead to what? It's going to lead to the charagma. Okay, because that's ultimately what they want to do. That's the main prophecy that brothers are waiting on, and that's in mainstream media too. Okay, it says, and with little resources for food production today, however, it appears that the entire globe is receiving an arsenal of food bombs, as there appears to be multifaceted attack on people's access to food. In other words, what was been admitted tactic for nearly 40 years of controlling food aid for regional population reduction has now grown more complex and expansive. So again, they have a thing called the Georgia Guidestones, where they're trying to, there's 8 billion people in the world, and what are they trying to do? They're trying to eliminate those people, okay? Bringing it down to 500 million. And food has always been a weapon, okay? Even the food that you get, it's all poison. Okay, it all has poison. Some things will say organic and things like that, but really they're not. Again, it says never trust thine enemy, right? Because of massive corporate consolidation of architecture, central coordinated global regulations devaluated the dollar. It says unrestrained commodity speculation, chemical and genetic modification, and real or manipulated food shortages. There is indeed a war being waged with food as a primary weapon. Understand, it is not purely war on food, but rather a war on general population. And then we read that Ecclesiastes 1 and 8. Okay, a time of war. And they're waging war on the people. Therefore, it is crucial to understand these tactics in order to defend against them. Yeah, so food inflation. Don't we see that happening right now? Okay, the foods are going up. They're blaming it on Russia, saying it's China, or blaming it on Russia, saying because of the gas. Okay, which is creating price hikes, right? And those sanctions, that's what I meant to say. There's sanctions that they're putting on Russia is backfiring on them. And all they did was ally themselves with China. Okay? And China is another power, right? And those two together will take down Babylon the Great, as it says in prophecy. So I just want to get that. That's food inflation. Fall shortages. Yeah, because again, they're hoarding up this food. China's been hoarding up food for a couple years now. Okay? And that's exactly what they're doing right now. It says the most recent examples can be found with the current ongoing negotiations with North Korea, whose perpetual holds a nuclear gun to the West head exchange for food. Somalia, who has a food sufficient until the 1970s, has become a failed state because of food shortage. Significantly, the situation in Somalia and other large-scale famine are usually caused by manipulated economic collapse. In fact, and many have reported that the lack of food was an underlying factor of Egyptian revolution. Okay, nothing new is under the sun. They've done this before. Okay, but the difference is that the men of the Lord have Yahawashi HaMashiach this time. Okay, we have the name, and we believe. And you should believe too, because again, that's the only thing that's going to be able to save you. Because again, this is not going to stop. Okay, it says chemical additives. So again, they've been doing this. Corn syrup. I was talking about the poison in the food. Okay, they have fluoride in your water. They have aluminum, barium in the air. Okay. Yeah, so mercury says in ketchup. Okay, so 4, regulations. By restricting food freedom, regulatory agencies purposely increase dependence on big age monopoly and full controls the basic building blocks of food. Simply put, corn, wheat, soybeans, rice, and then that guy's talking about they control the fertilizer. They have corn and wheat. Okay, over there. So, and they give, I think it's 30 or 50% of the world. Okay, so that's going to be at a short, right? Which is going to create price hikes, which is ultimately going to crash the economy, which is said earlier in this article. Genetically modification. So again, GMO foods, and that's what they have right now. They have GMO foods, and what they want to do is actually over there in North Korea, they're actually using their own fertilizer for food. Like what I mean by that is they're using their own shit for their fertilizer to be able to grow. Okay, and this is which was told to them by the government to do it. Okay. Yeah, it says Hungary recently destroyed illegal GMO corn crops. Okay, so again, you're seeing this over here. You're seeing there's been 20 fires at these food. I did a video about it last week. It might have been a couple of days ago. But yeah, they have 20 fires, that have happened with the food shortages. Okay, at these at the food processing places. Okay. So again, controlling the food. Then you have what the bird juice that's out there, the bird juice, which that's going to take away. They've killed over like 50 million chickens or something like that, and what that's going to create is no chicken, no eggs, which is all protein. Okay, they're knocking out that. Then you have BG, okay, Bill Gates buying up all the farmland, showing you that this is strategically planned. The weather undeniable affects food access and food costs. So again, they can be able to control the weather, okay, with their heart machines. Okay, it says right here, it says invested in by those such as Bill Gates and openly promoted elite globalist think tanks. So again, this think tank, let's look that up, because that's what they do. They devise iniquity upon their beds. Oh, okay. So it's not even. Okay, it's not even there. But anyway, we can look it up. Think tank, a body of experts providing advice and ideas on specific political and economic problems. So again, they have these think tanks. They devise iniquity upon their beds. Let's get that. Micah 2:1. Woe, which means destruction, to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of the hand. So again, these Bilderberg meetings, these United Nations General Assembly meetings, these different meetings that are met by in secret, and then they in the morning is light when the day, they go to their Senate, they go to their Senate House, the Democrat and the Republican. They go there, and what do? They pass unrighteous decrees. Okay? It says, too, and they covered fields and take them by violence, and the houses take them away. So they oppress a man in his own house and every man in his heritage. So again, that's what they're doing over there in Shanghai. They're taking the people out of their houses, bringing them to these re-educational camps. And what are they doing? They're starving them out, the ones that don't comply to their certain mandates. Okay? And that's the same thing that they're going to have over here. And they're doing it by fraud. Yeah, fraud and violence by saying that it's a certain, a Beetlejuice out there when it's really them. Okay. So going back to the 6 ways. Okay, so we got that. And then this is another article too. It says following rash of fires, FBI warns that food plants will be targeted with cyber attacks. So again, and who are they blaming the cyber attacks on? Russia. And that's going to have them where they can be able to just go on Russia's territory because of them blaming on them. Okay, again, all a psyop, right? And then when the guy was speaking about the so-called train attacks and things like that, that was actually Babylon the Great doing that. Okay, because again, that was brought out that those missiles that were shot on that place, okay, were actually old missiles that Ukraine actually had, okay, from the Soviet Union war, or from the war. the Cold War. Okay, they had the old weapons that was used by Ukraine, so they were exposed for that on the alternative networks. So again, it says the following of a wave of arson that saw numerous food processing plants in the United States burned to the ground or get crashed into by yeah. So that's another thing, crashed into by planes, really. Okay, by planes, all that roughly the same time. The FBI's cyber division published a notice explaining that the next phase of engineered so engineered, let's look that up. Engineered, it says modified by manipulation genetic material. It's a skillfully and deliberately arranged rather than arising naturally or spontaneously. Yeah, so again, arranged rather than arising naturally and spontaneously. Yeah, these are not it's not hard to see that after that Beetlejuice, then all of a sudden these not these food shortages, but these attacks on these food processing places started to happen. It says ransomware actors may be more likely to attack architectural cooperatives during critical planning harvest seasons. Yeah, so how during the harvest season, and they're taking away the seeds where you can't grow with the seeds. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, disrupting operations, causing financial loss, negativity, impacting food supply chain. The FBI announced suggesting that more false flag operations are on the way. The FBI added that in 2021 and early 2022 have already seen a ransomware attacks on farming cooperatives. And these attacks could affect the current planting season by disrupting supply of the seeds and fertilizer. So again, soon as they said peace and safety, sudden destruction shall happen. Okay, and that's what's going on right now, as you see. Okay, it says, when are Americans going to wake up and take their heads out of the sand? Because again, they're in blindness, they're in gross darkness. Let's get that. Isaiah 60:2, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So again, this world is in gross darkness. It has a veil that's wrapped around it. Okay? But now it's being exposed for the wickedness that it's doing, as far as with these food shortages. Because again, we're in the land of darkness. Get that. Job 21. And darkness means confusion. Okay, Job 10:21. Before I go, whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. And that's the valley is known as a low place, and this is a very low place. Why? Because of its moral standards. Okay, because of its crossing out of our Lord. Okay, because there's no order. Okay, Job 10:22. A land of darkness, and as darkness itself, a shadow of death without any order. Yeah, so without order. And where the light is as darkness, and that's exactly what you're seeing. The light as is darkness. Okay, let me get this that word order. Yeah, without any order. This is the Hebrews 54:68. Arrangement, order. So again, you have the woman over the man. Okay, you have you have Esau, Edom, over you. Again, this is no order. And what are they doing to the kids? They're teaching them about to be transformers, and they just passed a law. Okay, where they're able to do that. They don't have to ask their parents. Okay, so this is the land of darkness. Let's get another scripture on that. Psalms 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod, thy staff that comfort me. So again, because the Lord has given us that light, okay, which is this wisdom to be able to walk in that dark place down these straight paths. Let's get that. Matthew 7:13. Enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat. Okay, 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it. So again, that broad way is Christianity, Roman Catholicism. Okay, that's the broad way. False doctrine, that's the broad way. Okay, this path is narrow. Okay, so when it speaks about in Second Ezra 7 and 6, starting at 6, where it speaks about fire on one side and and high water on the other side, and you're gonna have to be able to go down that straight, which is a position of difficulty. Okay, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking about it. Let's get into the NLT. It says, "You can enter into Yahweh's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell, yeah, hell is a condition, is broad, and its gate is wide for many who choose that way." Yeah, so it choose that way of what? Wickedness. Okay. 14, but the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. So again, many are called, but few are chosen. Okay, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So again, not everybody's gonna be able to endure. Okay, and because I spoke about, let me get that actually, because again, we're headed into the time of the straight gate, position of difficulty. This is I had some other scriptures, but I'm just going in the spirit. Let me just highlight these real quick. Second Ezra 7 and 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of good things. So again, that is the kingdom. Okay, that's speaking about the kingdom. That broad field. Okay, a city is built, set upon a broad field, and it's full of good things. Yeah, so full of good things. What order? Arrangement. Okay, light. 7, the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place. And that's what we're in. We're in a very dangerous place because, again, they're waging war on the food. Okay, and of course, other things too. Pestilence, evils, right? And set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, okay, and the left a deep water. So again, you have fire on one side, you have a deep water on the other. And this is the point right here, 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one and could go there at once. So again, only could go there at once. Only one person can be able to go down the path that you have to go through. Okay, that's why it says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Let me get that. Philippians 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. So again, you can have Achium, and Aquas, in the, or Achium, as far as in the camp. Okay, but you have to work out your own salvation. You have to do your videos. You have to show up to camp. You have to pray to the Yahweh Shema Shai. You have to have that belief. Because again, without faith, it is impossible to please him. Okay, let me get that real quick. Because the ones that don't believe are going to get destroyed. Because they're not standing on that rock. They're standing on, sand. Okay, Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of the things not seen. So again, it says right there, that's the definition of faith. Okay, standing on the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of the things not seen. So we can't see Yahweh Hashem Shai, but we know that he's there. Why? Because of the changes that people have made, even right now. When you're doing these epistles or listen to these epistles, you could be doing anything else. But again, you're engaged in this world. Again, you're back in your lot. Lord willing, we endure. This is a 6. Hebrews 11 and 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that's what Yahweh means. He is, or he exists, and that he is a rewarder. Who is the rewarder? Yahweh Shai, of them that diligently seek him. So again, because of Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, we're able to have this grace period to be able to have hope and faith and belief through the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay. And all these things as far as the veil being lifted out of this place is being uplifted, because again, we were in gross darkness. So going back to right here. Yeah, so going back to the article, it says all this is happening, by the way, as the world is being distracted by nonstop propaganda. Okay, let's get that. Propaganda. The meaning. Propaganda is dissemination of information, facts, arguments, rumors, half truths, or lies to influence public opinion, deliberately and relatively having emphasis on manipulation. Distinguish propaganda from casual conversation or free and easy exchange for ideas. So again, they're using propaganda to be able to put in your mind that if you don't, that Russia is these big bad wolves. When actually the big bad wolves are right over here. Okay, now they're not no better. They're not no saints either. But the thing is that they're pushing a propaganda towards them, talking about the food. Okay, to try to justify them going to war with these people because they already gave $20 billion to Ukraine, and that's, and for instance, if I'm just gonna say in the street sense, if you have a problem with someone in the world in the streets or whatever, and then you find out you find out somebody's giving that person weapons or that person information about you, are you going to see that person as your friend? No, they're going to call you an unfriendly unfriendly person because they're saying unfriendly countries, okay? And that's what they're calling Babylon the Great. And so any nations that are giving weapons to Ukraine, it's going to be that same thing. It's going to be war, okay? It says food prices are at record highs, and Rockefeller Foundation, there's the Rockefellers, which are the elite, which are the wicked, which is Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. Rockefeller Foundation just released in their time frame when a massive immediate food crisis may begin, they say, in the next 6 months. And what did Joe Butthead said? He said, I don't care if it's 6 weeks, or he said 6 days, 6 weeks, or 6 months. And it says, here is the wisdom. You shall know the number, Revelation 13 and 18. You shall know him by that number. And again, what do you say? Rockefeller released their comment on massive immediate food crisis may begin in the next 6 months. Yep. And this is all the signs of the end times. Okay. It says Biden will get the food inflation he seeks one way or another, wrote another person apparently unaware of the fact that Biden is just a puppet. Okay, Barack Hussein Osama appears to be in his puppet. Yeah, so they're both puppets. Okay, they're both demons. Okay. Someone also joked that the FBI is basically telegraphing it no longer wants to put in work of burning down American food facilities, will now simply switch to cyber attacks that require less effort. Yeah, so again, they're pulling out all their devices. Okay. So let me get some scriptures. Isaiah 29 and 15. Woe, which means destruction unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in dark, and they say, who seeth us? Who knoweth us? So again, the prophets of Yahweh Shema Shai see this devil and what he's doing. Okay? And the Lord's eyes are set upon the sinful kingdom. Okay, as it speaks about in Amos 9 and 8. Let me get some real quick. Proverbs 15 and 3, the eyes of Yahweh are in every place, beholding evil and the good. So again, beholding evil and the good, showing you that he has control on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. He is omnipotent. Okay, and these devils can't go past a certain measurement. There's a bounds that he can't push. I think it says it in... Let's just get that real quick. Oh yeah, so I was right there. Job 14 and 5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed bounds that he cannot pass. So this devil cannot pass a certain time. Okay, when the Lord's going to come back to this place. Okay, he can't pass that certain thing. So whatever that he thinks is going to happen, it's not going to be passed. All these things are created for what? Prophecy. Okay. And this devil, when he's doing that, he knows that he has but a short time. Okay, he knows that he's not going to be able to. Well, he thinks in his heart that he's going to be able to do these things, but he doesn't know that he's going to be in straits. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. So again, the sea is a reference to the people. Okay, and woe to the inhabitants, the people living here, right? For the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath. So again, when they're coming in with a famine, that's the devil coming in with a great wrath, and he's going to increase in that. He's going to increase in his new world order because he has his peacekeepers, and he has to be more carnal. Right now, he's just speaking draconian, but he's going to start to be more carnal, having great wrath because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Yeah, so all these things, these famine rations and things like that, it's his last ditch effort to try to get his, regain his new world order. Okay. And the Lord said that this would happen, okay, because it's happened before. As we read in Jeremiah 28:8. This is Lamentations 4:9. Okay. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away, stricken through for the wants of the fruits of the field. So again, pine away means your body starts to rot away. Okay, your body starts to eat itself, because again, your body's always healing itself. And when you put things in you like a charagma, or the other thing they had a couple of years ago, you do stuff like that, and that's gonna eat up at your body, and that's what famine does. After, I think it said you could live up to 3 weeks, but without food, but you have to have water. Okay, and they're gonna start destroying the waters too. Okay, and this is what happened back then. It says the hands of a pitiful woman have sodden their own children, and they were meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. So again, sodden goes into cooking, boiling. Okay, they were boiling their own children to be able to eat them. Why? Because they were starving of famine, right? And that was because they provoked the Lord. They provoked the Lord to his fury, and and that's the same thing that's going on right now. The Lord is furious with his 2/3 of our people. Okay, and he's mad at the wicked every day. Okay, Psalm 7:11, Ezekiel 5:16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, I will increase the famine upon you, and I will break your staff of bread. So again, that's what he's doing, breaking that staff of bread by using what Esau Edom to do it. Because again, we know that Yahweh Shem Rashai is the one that's in control of all this. Okay, he has appointed a bounds he can't cross. Job 14:5, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth whatsoever he will. So again, he turns it how he pleases. Again, he declared the end and the beginning. Okay, Isaiah 46:10. So not to be fear-hearted, or not to be faint-hearted. Slakia. Okay, I think I got a couple more scriptures. Let's get this. So I got that. Yeah, Matthew 24:7. Because again, and this is speaking about the disciples were inquiring of the Lord, what time will be the end times, and that's how you measure the time through the scriptures. Measuring the time diligently, you measure it through the scriptures. You don't measure it by looking, okay, this is this certain time. No, you measure it by the scriptures, by the prophecies that are happening. Matthew 24:7, for the nation shall rise against nation. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking, and he's telling the disciples, which is also speaking to us right now, of what's going to be the end times. It says, for the nation shall rise against nation. Aren't we seeing that? Russia's, talking about America, and they just put a hit out. Russia just put a hit out on, Poland. On Poland over there. Why? Because they're giving weapons to Ukraine. So they said they're gonna you keep doing that, we're gonna launch missiles at you. Okay, so and Putin's not gonna he's not gonna back down, because again, that's prophecy. Matthew 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So again, we're seeing earthquakes at an all-time high, 7.0 earthquakes. Okay, you have the the pestilence. Okay, as far as the thing a couple of years ago, and they're starting to bring it back. Famines, we're seeing the beginning stages of that. Well, we're seeing that over there in China. They're in a famine. Okay, and they sell Somalia. There's other places in the world that don't even have food. Okay, and that's going to happen to Babylon the Great. Why? Because they've lived so dainty. I'm going to bring that out. They think they're going to be in good case, but they're not. Okay, Matthew 24:8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Yeah, so all these are the beginning of pains. When your children can't eat or your family can't eat, okay, you start to be rash. As I spoke about earlier, 3 days you'll riot for food. Okay, 1 week you'll steal for food, and then the second week you'll kill for food. Okay. And that's how it's gonna be, okay? Because we know that only the servants of Yahweh Shema Shai are gonna be gonna be okay. They're gonna have that shelter and that refuge. The others are gonna be destroyed. They're gonna be in a perplexity. Let me get that. Actually, yeah. Let me get this first, because the beginning of sorrows. So let me make this a little bit bigger. Let's see. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and power shall stand. So again, that was what Yahawashi was actually quoting. Okay, showing you that the apocrypha is faithful and true. Because he's saying the same things in Matthew 24:7, as I read earlier. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and power shall stand in fear, and the beginning of evils, bad times. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So again, because you didn't take heed, then you're going to be broken down by what? The famine, the staff of the bread, okay, spoiling of goods. Okay, scourges goes into whipping for the amendment. Yeah, the amendment means you didn't obey. You didn't obey what Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, 20. But for all these things they shall turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be as good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. So again, victuals goes into your food. Okay, you can go down to McDonald's and you get 5 burgers for $5. You can get whatever that you want, but as you're seeing through inflation, hyperinflation, and these food processing centers being burnt down and hit by planes, that there's going to be no food. Okay, you thought that you were going to be in good case. Even these preppers, they think that they're going to be all right. Okay, but they're not, because again, you have to have the shelter of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah, so again, Babylon goes back to means confuse. Okay, means confusion. Okay, and that's what people are going to be. They're going to be looking at each other, and they're going to want to eat. They're going to want to eat one another. Okay. 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So again, those intercontinental ballistic missiles, you're not going to be, it's not at all going to quit the wicked. Okay, as it speaks about what is that, Nahum 1 and 3. But the men of the Lord should be rejoicing. Why? Because this thing is good. Because this means a prophecy. All right, I don't know what's going on, but let me just get in the other one. Oh, okay, right here. Luke 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity of the sea waves roaring. So again, there's going to be great perplexity. When we go into this word perplexity, Perplexity. This is in the Greek, 640. It says a state of one who is, no, that's not it. It says right here, this is the Greek, 639, to be without resources, to be in straits. Yeah, so position of difficulty, as I read in 2nd Ezra 7 and also Matthew 24. To be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt. Yeah, you're going to be embarrassed in that day, and Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be laughing at you. He's going to have you in derision, okay? Because you mocked the prophets that he sent. To be in doubt, to not to know which way to turn. So again, you're not going to know which way to go. Okay, that standard is not going to be lifted up for those that didn't take heed to this word, didn't hearken to this word. To be at loss with oneself, to be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do, to be perplexed. Yeah, so not know where to go. Again, you're not going to have that direction because again, the Yahweh Shema Shai is that lamp. He is that light that's guiding us in a dark place. Okay. So going back to it, I'm going to come back to that actually. See, yeah, actually, okay. Slakia. I want to go to 2nd Ezra 15. Second Ezra is 15 and 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So incredulity goes into your unbelief. What if you didn't believe that these certain things are going to happen? Now they're being mainstream. The Charagma is mainstream. These are all the signs of the end times. 4, for the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Yeah, so you didn't believe, so you're going to get destroyed. Behold, said the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, the famine, the death, and destruction. So again, this is the Lord that's putting plagues on this world. Okay, and we're in the beginning stages of it, beginning stages of sorrows. 14, woe to the world that them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and the swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in the power. Oh, wow. Slakia. Yeah, so the reason why they're gonna have swords in their hands, because again, they're gonna have a lack of food. And sedition goes into a revolt against the government. Why? Because of draconian measures, because they're gonna be hoarding the food. And again, that veil is gonna be lifted off, and those people are gonna be fighting in the streets because again of lack of bread, as it speaks about in here. It says, men shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able to. So you won't be able to go in the city. Why? Because it's gonna be destroyed. Okay, and plus they're going to have military places right there. And if you don't have the Charagma or a certain card, then you're not going to be able to go in these certain places. 18, for because of their pride, their city shall be troubled and the house shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. Yeah, so again, people are going to be afraid. Why? Because people are going to be going into people's houses. People are going to have weapons. It's going to be perplexity. 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah, so the lack of bread. Okay, you don't have food. You gonna turn into something that you thought that you wouldn't. Okay. So going back to that, what was that, Luke 21? And I ended right there. That's Luke 21 and 25. Okay, skipping down to 20, we'll start at 28. Luke 21 and 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for redemption draweth nigh. So again, Tawadi Yahweh Shem Shai, that these things are happening because the end is close. It says 29, and I spoke to them in a parable, behold a fig tree and all the trees. 30, when they know, so a parable is what? A dark saying for something that has divine meaning. Okay, Luke 21 and 30. When they now shoot forth, you shall see them and know of your own selves that the summer is nigh at hand. So likewise, when you see these things come to pass, know that the kingdom of Yahweh is nigh at hand. That's right. 32. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall pass away till it be all fulfilled. So again, Yahweh Shem Rashai is not going to stir up anything. 2 Ezra 4. Okay, where it speaks about he's not going to stir up anything. Everything has to be fulfilled. So again, when it's speaking about when it's talking about wars and rumors of wars, and it says the end is not yet, because again, the Karagma hasn't happened. Okay, once that Karagma happens, that's when the Lord's going to intervene. Okay, according to the scriptures, right? It says 33, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. That's right, because his words are not going to be going to go out void. Okay, his words are going to be everlasting. Okay, so with that, call Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Shalom to the elect, Kwam Yashala.